Okay, good morning, everyone. I am Shreya Poddar, Senior Recruitment Advisor for Ryerson University, Toronto.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Deepa. I represent Queen's University, Kingston, Ontario, Canada.
And today we are going to do a small presentation, or rather a talk about how do you decode the Canadian application process. And hopefully it is informative for all of you all. We're going to go ahead and get started.
Great. Shreya, we'll start with, discussing all the aspects of our application process. But first of all, I think the most important thing that students wants to know is why they should choose Canada. And I hope you can talk about that a little.
Absolutely. So the first thing I would like to talk about, why should you select Canada as a study destination? And I think we would probably want to focus a little bit more on Ontario as a province, as both of our universities are located within that province, and the application will surround, in terms of the process of the application does surround province-wise. So I think we will stick to that. So the first thing that I would like to talk about Ontario is it is home to 40% of the country's population, and most international students are housed within Ontario compared to any other province in Canada. Also, as you must be aware, Canada is most of Canada's population is migrants who have moved and made Canada their home, and Ontario houses most of them. Coming to talking about your work opportunities or education opportunities or study opportunities, all of those being in Ontario, it being a hub for a lot of the companies, big MNC companies having their headquarters within Ontario in different cities, makes it great for you as students to consider and move ahead after you have finished graduating from any university. It makes your chances a little bit more brighter and helps you work towards the future that you would want.
Great. That definitely makes Ontario a great choice, being one of the most popular and populous province of Canada. Wonderful.
Moving on, something that I think is very unique to Canada as a country in terms of what they offer is co-ops. So Deepa is going to shed some light on that to let you all know what co-ops are.
Yes, absolutely. Co-ops is originated as a concept from Canada. So it's important when anyone is considering Canada for higher education. Uh, it is important for students to understand what it is all about and what it's in for you. Co-ops is a way of providing that experiential experience, learning experience to the students. A Canadian degree is incomplete without co-op, and most of the degrees, irrespective of the university you join in Canada, would have a co-op included in your program. This could come in different nature. Some university may offer you a full semester dedicated to your co-op, uh, or there could be some universities offering co-op at a particular time, in a particular time of your program. So needless or regardless to say when it is coming, it is definitely coming your way. So call it a internship if you want to simplify it, or call it a co-op. This is the way by which university offer you that practical experience within your subject area. Most of the co-ops, in fact 100% of the co-ops, is paid. So this is the way for students to also experience earning some money and in Canada, and give you that local Canadian experience within your subject area. So something which adds great value to your credentials. When you, by the time you finish your program, you already have at least between 6 months to 2 years of working experience in Canada, which provides a great starting point to find your first full-time employment in Canada. You want to add something, Shreya?
No, I think that's absolutely true, and I agree with, because most universities the co-ops are optional, and we do recommend that you do take up a co-op, because like Deepa said, that it gives you a great like a test drive, if you want to call it, in terms of understanding what your career entails in terms on that job profile. So it just helps you understand and that area of work better. So yeah, definitely do consider taking up a co-op whenever you apply.
Wonderful. moving further, there are things about, how do you apply to a Canadian university? What is the application process looking like currently in the times of COVID? Has it changed? Or overall, how it is different from US? Because we both are North American countries. How Canadian application process is different from US? Shreya, would you like to, discuss that aspect?
Absolutely. And I think the most important and the stark difference between, I think, an American and a Canadian application will be that we do not require your standardized testing. So no SATs, ACTs, letters of recommendation, SOPs are not mandatory requirements for your application process. Um, we might require them separately, but and I think I would like to say this across all Canadian universities, the curriculum is the same. It is standardized. So in the process of applying to the universities, we will need your academic transcripts. That is something that we will focus on, or the admissions team will focus on when you're applying. And so be it mostly, I think all of us will require your grade 10, 11, and 12 standard predicted marks, and that should suffice, provided depending on which board you are. And each of us, when you reach out to each university, will set in their criteria in terms of the marks or the percentages or the points that we require for our programs, and you prepare accordingly. That is something that would be probably more helpful. And another tip I would like to probably give grade 11 and 10 students who might be listening to this is that if you are, just check about your program and prepare better. And specifically for 11th standard student, don't take 11th standard a bit too lightly.
Yeah.
It definitely does matter because it is your 10th, 11th and 12th standard marks. So usually you are getting your admission on the basis of your 10th and 11th performance. So we do tend to take 11th standard a bit lightly in India. So probably, consider that and give it a little bit more effort and time while you're giving the exams from your grade 11. So that I think that would be the major difference between the two application processes. And also just generally talking about the process of applying, as we started off the conversation with Ontario being having the universities, and we were talking as we both are from universities based within Ontario, the application process is when you can apply through a portal called OUAC, which is where you can make your application to the universities, and then your university will send out an email where you could activate your portals and then upload your specific documents. Most universities within Ontario prefer that method of application. So do consider looking at that and going and understanding how to apply. And lastly, having said that, it is not a difficult process at all. It is very, very self-explanatory, and you can absolutely manage it by yourself if you just read the steps, and you should be okay to go ahead and apply.
I second that. It is nothing more than, probably applying to a competitive university in India, because as Canadians, we like to say we have a holistic admission process, but honestly, we are so focused on your academic performance. So keep your grades up. That's the only key to getting into a top institution in Canada.
Okay, moving on to a few things I think Deepa will highlight for us about, what is important when you are making an application and what you should keep in mind.
Yes. So it's very important that we start preparing our academic profile from grade 9th onwards. As Shreya mentioned, high school performance is something that is looked very carefully. Some universities start looking at your scores from 9th onwards. Some university would look at 10th onwards. Some would just focus on last 2 years, which is 11th and 12th. So broadly, you should start focusing on your performance and keep your grades up from 9th onwards. So your mark sheets should be with you, but at the same time, you should work closely with your school counselor, your guidance counselor, or your principal's office to send those transcripts to your uh, selected universities through your school. Ideally, universities in Canada would like to receive these mark sheets through your school, and they would not accept it coming from you directly. So once you are through with your OUAC application or your any other application applying to if you're applying to universities outside of Ontario, they would like to receive these transcripts or mark sheets from your school. So make sure that you're working closely with your counselor's office or your principal's office to send these across to your selected universities. Besides this, you should also check if there is a requirement of an essay. Some universities would ask you to submit a topic-based essay. Some universities would have a generic statement of purpose that needs to be submitted. Some universities like to call it a personal statement of experience. So check if there is any such requirement and do submit that before the deadline, because that would be a crucial component of your application. I believe not many universities in Canada are asking for a letter of recommendation. So there is no such requirement, and you don't have to seek one from your schools. And if there is an additional requirement of an audition or a portfolio, depending on the program, then yes, do fulfill that before your deadline is over. Ideally, every university starts their application process by the end of September. So in a couple of weeks, every university is going to get open for a next fall intake. And depending on the institution, they would close down. Some universities close as early as 15th of January. Some universities close by 1st of February, or some closes in March. So it's important to check the closing date. The opening date of the application would more or less remains the same for every university. Shreya, have I missed something? Would you like to add?
The only thing I probably want to add is about the prerequisite and requirements. Like Deepa said, that if depending on your program, please do keep in mind what prerequisites. So that's not just for programs, say arts and design. Of course, there's a portfolio component, but even business, for example, most universities in Canada do require math. Okay, so I think that is something you need to be aware of, and there is a solution for it. So in case you have not taken math in your grade 11 and 12, you can opt for taking a virtual math class, and each university will spell out the course code that they need you to clear. And it takes a minimum of 3 to 9 months to clear that exam. So you can still make an application and let the university know that you are opting for this class. And then once the grades are submitted, then the admissions team will then start reviewing your application once they receive it. So it is something which is very important to keep in mind, because I think in India specifically, a lot of people who want to do business go for commerce without maths. So I think that would be something to keep in mind, that even if you haven't taken it, you can still be absolutely okay and still apply for a business program.
Thank you so much for covering that. I think that's a very crucial aspect, checking out your background subjects to be eligible for a particular major within a university. All right, moving further, Shreya, can you also give us some information about the English proficiency? What kind of tests are acceptable to prove your English proficiency in Canada?
So, of course, we do, as any other country, do require English proficiencies to be met, but there will be different kinds. So, for example, there might be some universities might waive off an English proficiency if you have studied in an IB school or a Cambridge board school for more than 4 years, and that will be specific to each university that you are applying and the criteria they require to you for you to have been, to meet those criteria. So we might need a letter, say, from your school and your university, stating that you have, been studying for X number of years in an English medium format. That's where, and you will have to fill a form that each of the universities might have. So an exemption is possible. But having said that, for your visa process, you still need to take an English language test. So even if you get a waiver for your application, you will still have to apply for it while you're applying for your visa. The various tests, I think universally what Canada as a country would prefer is IELTS and TOEFL. You can't take the home indicator test. We all will need the actual in-person test to be taken at the center. So whenever we are aware of the current situation, and I think we are mindful of it. So then I don't think any university needs it ASAP. When you are making your application, there will be a separate deadline for your English proficiencies. So you can, set a later date, and once things are safe for you to go and take the test, do take it at that time. Don't stress about it. The band for IELTS and TOEFL will again vary from university to university. And just personally, I think if given the option and you have to decide between a TOEFL and IELTS, And if you're not applying to any American university, I would recommend take IELTS, because it actually does help your visa process depending on which category you apply. So that is another topic by itself. But looking at IELTS, IELTS would probably be a more universal approach for university, for your visa and everything. So that it will cover more ground, I guess. So yeah, that is a little bit about IELTS. Anything else, Deepa, to add to it?
No, that perfectly covers everything. In fact, over 200 American universities now accept IELTS. So IELTS acceptability is wide. And so to be on a very safe side, if you're applying to a combination of universities in US and in Canada, then IELTS would suffice the requirements of both the countries. So I would, we would suggest that you to go for an IELTS exam over TOEFL if there is a um, option for you available.
Okay, coming to the end of our conversation and decoding this process, I think we would lastly but not the least like to talk about scholarships across Canadian universities in terms of the various kinds that are available and how you can prepare for them. So over to Deepa for that.
Yeah, you've given me a difficult topic to discuss. Scholarships is something which is widely asked for. Students all across, would like to know what kind of scholarships they are eligible for in Canada. Um, I would say Canada as a country has, they recognize the talent that is coming from across the borders, and international students do bring a lot of diversity into the campus of the universe, of any institution. So scholarships is something that is given by the universities in various forms. But if I have to give you a nutshell, most of these scholarships are going to be merit based. So keep your grades up irrespective. Even if you are just aiming for an admission or you're aiming for an admission with a scholarship, keep your grades up. High scores are going to be the basis of most of the scholarships. Some of the scholarships are called automatic admissions first year awards. These are given only for first year, and these are small values given on the basis of your 12th projected 12th class performance. And you know these are more of a bursary. But then there are some larger values of scholarships which comes in the form of given by certain faculties. For so this is going to be restricted to certain programs. Some of these scholarships are going to be based upon a counselor nomination. So if you have your counselor or your principal want, who would like to give nominate you for a certain scholarship, then those kind of scholarships are available in Canada. Then certain universities also offer some destination-based scholarships. So, I mean, I would like to just add that Queen's has India-specific scholarship. It's given in the form of a principal international scholarship, and it's only for the citizens of India. So, like Queen's, quite a lot of universities offer certain country-specific scholarships. So, there are variety of scholarships, but um, all in all, I do not feel there are many universities in Canada which can offer you 100% scholarship. So they can, you know, com- they can be given for first year, for second year, or all 4 years, but they would be a small amount of your tuition fees. They will not cover your 100% tuition fees. That's where our understanding goes. Shreya, would you like to add something here?
I think you pretty much covered it, and we have given you all a broad, like a bird's eye view into what kind of scholarships that you can expect to receive, and it really depends. Like Deepa said rightly, with the universities, and some could be recurring, some could not be one time. So it really is for you to understand, firstly, which university you're applying to and what they require to have, and please, like, probably reiterating the fact that it is all merit based. So do keep your grades up to be eligible to apply for the most amount of scholarships that you can, to help you guide your way through the process. And I think a little bit off topic, but I just want to say it, in terms of an international student, you are allowed to work 20 hours a week, either on or off campus. And that is also kind of a way for you to kind of save up money or manage your personal expenses. So there is other options as well. You being in Ontario in terms of the province and being internationally so diverse, I think all of our hourly wages that are there for students and opportunities that are there for students are very diverse as well. So you do get that hands-on experience and you are able to save up on that money. So that is additional apart from your scholarship. So the point being, there is a lot that you can achieve and do. You have to make that little extra effort at your end. And I think all the universities are there to support you in terms of, all of us have our student services and international student offices that would be able to, walk you through the process and make the settling down in Canada process a little bit more easy and make you feel at home. So hopefully this video and this talk of decoding the application was helpful. And we do look forward to connecting with you all individually and answering questions that you may have.
Yeah. Lastly, I would like to just end by saying that don't push pause. A pandemic has come into our lives, and eventually we have started to accept it, and that's a new normal. But there is a long way to go for us as humankind, and don't put brakes on your plans and your study plans and your education plans. And Canada, I would say, is the most welcoming country as of now when it comes to international students. So take use of that, make use of that opportunity, and do check out all the great institutions we have in Canada, and apply to courses that you feel that is the right choice for you. Great. We are
Thank
towards
you.
the end,
Yeah.
and thank you so much. And I hope you find this video useful.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.